It's the dead of night. You're crouched in the trenches when you hear it. That low, menacing buzz gets closer. Baba Yaga, someone whispers under their breath, dread spreading like wildfire. You look up and something drops, but it isn't a bomb. A metallic object hits the ground with a clatter, and a pair of cold, mechanical eyes lock onto you. It's a robot dog. The drone vanishes, but the dog is there to hunt. Nope, this isn't a scene pulled straight out of a dystopian horror film. This is the new phase of warfare. The very real scenario many Russian soldiers will face, or already do, as the Ukrainian forces get increasingly creative with their use of autonomous weapons in the Russo-Ukrainian War. But how did a vampire and a robot dog transition from a punchline to a really bizarre joke to a reality in modern warfare? Keep watching to uncover the surprising connection between these two elements and how this peculiar pairing is transforming the battlefield in unexpected ways. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Given that the Ukrainian vampire drones and robot dogs are a culmination of the use of autonomous systems in the Russo-Ukrainian War, we must first explore the broader context of these technologies and their strategic implications. You see, since the very beginning of the invasion in 2022, Ukraine has been seeking to minimize the risks to humans on the battlefield while maximizing operational effectiveness. This approach stands in stark contrast to its Russian adversaries, who've shown nothing but a willingness to expend lives in pursuit of territorial gains. The 667,630 Russian troops lost between February 24, 2022 and October 10, 2024 speaks volumes about this meat-grinder military strategy that sees soldiers as mere cannon fodder. Ukraine, seeing its forces as valuable assets and, above all, humans, has prioritized innovative tactics and technologies for any scenarios where human lives might be at stake. This involves navigating areas littered with landmines, conducting reconnaissance in an enemy-controlled territory, and attempting to breach fortified positions that contain enemy troops. The solution for all these dangerous scenarios? Autonomous systems. By leveraging advanced technologies like drones and robot vehicles, Ukraine is not only enhancing its operational capabilities, but also protecting its soldiers from unnecessary risks. However, autonomous systems aren't only about combat and surveillance. They also play a crucial role in logistics and support, streamlining supply chains and ensuring that troops receive the necessary resources without exposing them to danger. With these in mind, let's explore the most common autonomous systems used in the war in Ukraine, leading up to the puzzling vampire drones and robot dogs. Given that the war in Ukraine has been widely referred to as a drone war, there's really only one place to start: the drones. The term drone war isn't just a catchy label. It stems from the unprecedented scale of unmanned aerial vehicle (UAV) deployment, which has made the Russo-Ukrainian War synonymous with drones. According to US officials, Ukrainian forces are losing approximately 10,000 drones each month. That's 10,000. The number of losses alone should tell you all you need to know about the relentless pace of this aerial battle. Drones have become integral to tracking enemy forces, guiding artillery, and executing strikes, thus marking a historic shift in military tactics and technology. Though many experts have attributed this shift to the war in Ukraine specifically, it's important to note that UAVs have also seen extensive use in other global conflicts, demonstrating their growing relevance on the modern battlefield. They were used in Vietnam, Kosovo, and Iraq, as well as in the recent Armenia-Azerbaijan conflict over Nagorno-Karabakh. However, the concept of unmanned aerial weapons in military applications can be traced even further back, from Chinese fire kites in ancient times to balloon bombs during the Austrian siege of Venice in 1849. The idea of using unmanned aerial technology to gain a strategic advantage has a long and fascinating history. However, the scale of drone utilization in Ukraine is unlike anything we've witnessed before. This begs a simple question: why? Why are drones so extensively used in Ukraine? The answer is simple: they're the most practical and cost-effective solution. You see, conventional warplanes are far less effective in Ukraine due to the saturation of anti-aircraft systems near the front lines. In contrast, these unmanned vehicles, which cost a mere $500 or even less, can be deployed in overwhelming numbers without significantly straining military budgets and worrying about pilot safety. Also, the very nature of the conflict in Ukraine makes drones an ideal solution. The situation on the battlefield is best summed up in 3 words: chaotic, dynamic, and highly contested. That's why the Ukrainian forces need a solution that can adapt quickly. And that's precisely what drones do. They can be launched, retasked, and retrieved in a matter of minutes, allowing for a rapid response to shifting frontline scenarios. Due to their audacious roles, these drones are often viewed as expendable. That's why many of the drones used by Ukrainian forces today are often adapted from commercial technology. These less expensive, smaller, and more agile drones include the first-person view (FPV) drones, which have gained notoriety for their effectiveness, especially in relation to their price tag. Originally designed for racing or recreational use, FPV drones are now being retrofitted with explosives for precision strikes, carrying out single-use attacks with remarkable accuracy while evading detection by Russian air defenses. However, there are also some tech heavyweights in drone technology employed by both sides. Take the Turkish Bayraktar TB2 drones as an example. These UAVs are widely believed to be among the best drones in the world. They can fly at altitudes of up to 22,000 feet, operate for over 20 hours, and carry up to 320 pounds of payload. Since the beginning of the invasion, Ukraine has received over 50 of these high-tech UAVs, including over 50 drones from Turkey delivered from March 2022 onward, one from Lithuania in July 2022 and one from Poland in late 2022. However, as precious as these drones are in combat, they also cost about $5 million apiece, which is why Ukraine turned to more affordable alternatives. But even though these FPV drones might be less sophisticated, their operation still requires coordination and precision. The Ukrainian soldiers usually employ a remote controller to operate the drone while wearing a headset to view the drone's camera feed. Another operator may use a tablet to provide situational awareness. Once the target is spotted, operators focus on its most vulnerable points, such as an open hatch or engine compartment on a tank, before directing the drone for a strike. Besides armored vehicles, the Ukrainian forces have used FPV drones to target supply depots and command posts, capitalizing on their ability to dive directly into vulnerable points. Of course, direct strikes represent only one of the common uses of FPV drones. These devices have also been used for surveillance and reconnaissance. This is made possible by the photo and video sensors these drones are equipped with, enabling them to conduct real-time intelligence gathering. That's why they're often used to locate enemy bases and observe troop movements, providing critical intelligence that informs further tactical decisions. FPV drones have also been used to direct artillery strikes in the war. This also goes back to the real-time video feed, which enables artillery units to adjust their fire with precision, ensuring maximum effectiveness against enemy positions. This capability was particularly crucial during the early stages of the war, where coordinating artillery strikes helped Ukraine repel advances by Russian forces. Of course, we can't forget about another crucial role of drones in the Russo-Ukrainian conflict: propaganda and documentation. Given the sheer scale of war crimes committed by the Russian forces, the Ukrainian military and humanitarian organizations needed a way to document and verify these atrocities in real time. Leveraging drones to capture high-resolution footage of the devastation caused by Russian attacks helped them do just that. So the FPV drones have helped Ukraine document horrifying scenes, such as the bombing of civilian areas, the destruction of infrastructure, and the aftermath of missile strikes on Ukrainian cities. The footage captured is often used for propaganda purposes, contrasting the destruction sowed by the Russian forces with the resilience displayed by their Ukrainian counterparts. This not only boosts morale at home, but also aids in garnering much-needed international support. The many uses of UAVs can be directly tied to many models of FPV drones in Ukraine. From drones that can fit in the palm of your hand to larger models weighing over 1,000 pounds, Ukraine has built or acquired a diverse fleet of remotely piloted aircraft that can severely complicate and frustrate Russia's advances. However, few drones used by Ukrainian forces seem to frustrate their Russian foes as much as the Vampire drones. For Russians, the Vampires are more than just drones. They're the unseen terror of the night, the part of the day when the battlefield in Ukraine changes. In the day, Ukraine's FPV drones swarm the skies, but by nightfall, the Vampires come out to hunt. The Russians are so terrified of these drones, they've nicknamed them Baba Yaga. Baba Yaga is a Slavic witch from folklore. Something like the American boogeyman, but darker, more elusive. She's the monster mothers tell their children about to keep them from wandering into the woods. As for Russian soldiers, Baba Yaga has become more than just a story. The vampire drones, as terrifying as any myth, are behind this. And the fear of them is real. Russian soldiers speak of them in hushed tones, with intercepted radio communications revealing a chilling desperation. The Russian commanders have even placed bounties on these drones, $500 or a week-long vacation for anyone who can take one down. But they rarely do. And that's not because these drones have claws and the ability to abduct soldiers, as the Chechen troops of the Russian armed forces have claimed. It's due to their impressive capabilities. With this in mind, let's finally meet these fabled vampire drones. The vampire drones are 6-rotor hexacopters, specifically designed for heavy payloads and night operations. Equipped with advanced thermal imaging cameras, they practically own the night, undetectable to the naked eye. At roughly 1,300 feet in the air, they see everything, but the Russians, they barely see them coming. However, they do typically hear them, as the Baba Yaga is reportedly quite loud, but the incoming sound only heightens the tension for the Russian troops, because they know they're being hunted and they know what's coming. Each Vampire can carry up to 33 pounds of payload. That's more than enough to deliver a thermobaric warhead or a high-explosive fragmentation bomb to its target. From anti-tank mines to shape-charged munitions, these drones can pack some serious firepower. It's like sending in a stealth bomber, but for just $10,000 a pop. Cheap, deadly, and devastatingly accurate. The last characteristic is especially important in the war in Ukraine. After all, the country can't afford to waste any precious rounds, which often happens with artillery. But the Vampire drones, they don't miss. They almost always hit their mark. This makes them quite an economic killer, saving Ukraine's limited ammunition, one devastating strike at a time. Another characteristic that must be added to the Vampire's long list of impressive features is its remarkable range. For such an affordable weapon, it boasts a combat radius of 5 to 7.5 miles, meaning that a single Vampire can launch devastating strikes from a safe distance, keeping its operators out of harm's way while wreaking havoc on enemy positions. This range is crucial on the fluid battlefield of Ukraine, where front lines shift rapidly and staying out of sight is a matter of survival. It allows the Ukrainian forces to maintain the element of surprise, launching unexpected attacks that can leave Russian units scrambling. These attacks can come from altitudes of up to 1,300 feet, making the Vampire drones a formidable threat. Sometimes this threat is the last to come, as smaller reconnaissance drones are sent to scout for targets before the Baba Yaga swoops in for the kill. But what exactly are the Vampire drones targeting? Well, their mission scope extends beyond the front lines. These drones strike not only at Ukrainian enemies within the country, but also targets within Russia itself. For instance, Ukrainian operators actively focus on Russian mortars that pose a threat to their infantry. A single successful strike on these critical artillery pieces can render them ineffective for days, significantly impacting the enemy's firepower. Often the mission even involves dropping multiple bombs on these mortars to neutralize them altogether and prevent them from contributing to the ongoing conflict. In addition to mortars, Vampire drones have gained a reputation for their effectiveness against tanks, particularly during night operations. Operating primarily at night, the Vampire drones utilize advanced thermal imaging technology, granting them a significant tactical advantage. This enables them to operate undetected while successfully locating Russian forces. They can deliver mortar-sized munitions directly onto armored vehicles, capitalizing on their stealth capabilities. This not only disrupts the enemy's armor, but also forces Russian units to reconsider their deployment strategies. The Vampires also play a vital role in logistical support by transporting essential supplies like food and water to frontline troops. In many instances, they conduct as many as 5 to 6 deliveries a day, ensuring that soldiers in remote or dangerous areas receive the nourishment they need to maintain their combat effectiveness. And that's not even all. The Vampires can also function as a mothership, equipped with signal repeaters and anti-jamming equipment. This capability extends the operational range and battery life of secondary drones, enhancing their overall effectiveness on the battlefield. Finally, by providing air support to the Ukrainian troops, the Vampire allows infantry units to remain safer while effectively targeting enemy positions from above. This aerial support is vital for maintaining defensive lines against Russian advances, and it exemplifies how modern warfare blends technology with tactical ingenuity. In this high-stakes game of cat and mouse, the Vampire drones stand out as multifaceted tools in Ukraine's arsenal, flying often and striking hard. However, it's also important to note that the hexacopter we've been describing is only one of 3 Vampire weapons used by the Ukrainian armed forces. This attack drone was developed by the Ukrainian company Skyfall, and it reportedly originates from an agricultural octocopter. Next is the American Vampire anti-aircraft and land attack missile system, capable of guiding advanced precision kill weapon system rockets using a laser beam. This relatively new system was part of the military assistance package worth nearly $3 billion, which was announced in August 2022. Finally, there's the Czech RM-70 Vampir multiple rocket launcher. An upgraded version of the BM-21 Grad multiple launch rocket system, the RM-70 Vampir is designed for rapid reloading in the field, allowing the Ukrainian forces to sustain their firepower during combat operations without being tethered to a logistics chain. With all these Vampires lurking around, the Ukrainian battlefield is no longer just a war zone, it's a full-blown horror show for the Russians. And the last thing they needed to make their nightmare even worse was the arrival of robot dogs. Yet that's precisely what's happening in Ukraine. And how do we know? 2 words: social media. The robot dogs officially entered the game in August 2024, when the Telegram channel of the Ukrainian 28th Mechanized Brigade posted a video of a robot dog patrolling a heavily damaged town. The video described the robot dog as having a multitude of talents and a wide potential for use on the battlefield, and added that these 4-legged robotic friends are poised to influence the course of hostilities, just as drones once changed the war. In a post later published to X, formerly Twitter, by the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense, the commander of the same unit, the 28th Mechanized Brigade, said that every unit should own such a dog. A Ukrainian operator then demonstrated the capabilities of these robot dogs at an undisclosed location in Ukraine. The robot dog was even shown accompanying a Ukrainian soldier of the Khortytsia unit, with the soldier relying on the robot's thermal imaging camera for surveillance in a wooded area. However, it was roughly a month later that the robot dogs first came into contact with the vampire drones, well, at least publicly. In late September, Ukraine News Live shared a video on X showing a drone dropping a robot dog, referred to as a combat robot scout, in a field before the dog rose to its feet and started walking. As of August 2024, there are reportedly over 30 robot dogs roaming somewhere on the Ukrainian front lines. Their presence undoubtedly marks a pivotal advancement in modern warfare, blending cutting-edge technology with tactical operations. As these robotic companions join the fight, the Russians are facing a new kind of adversary, one that walks, scans, and strategizes, and yet doesn't fire, doesn't need rations, and certainly doesn't get demoralized. But let's back up for a second. Just as the vampire drone wasn't the first or the only drone the Ukrainian forces used in the conflict, this intriguing robot dog is part of a broader trend of introducing robotics on the battlefield. Let's do a brief overview of the robotic platforms used in Ukraine before discussing these new and advanced four-legged companions. At the forefront of this robotic revolution are the combat robots designed for fierce engagements on the front lines. These machines are engineered for remote combat operations, so they can conduct assaults, defend positions, and perform surveillance, all while their operators remain safely sheltered up to 2.5 miles away. Equipped with a range of weaponry, including the 7.62mm PKT and PKM machine guns, and the 12.7mm NSVT and M2 Browning machine guns, these robots can pack quite a punch. Notably, some models are fortified against small arms fire and come with thermographic cameras for nighttime engagements. The models in this category include the Shablia M2, the Lyat, the Moroz, and the D11. The versatile D2111 can also swiftly transition from a combat platform to a transport system, enabling rapid response in any frontline situation. This robust array of combat robots exemplifies how Ukraine has embraced technology to enhance its offensive military capabilities. However, the integration of robotics doesn't stop there. The evolution continues with the self-destructive robots and mine layers, which serve a critical role in neutralizing enemy armored vehicles. These robots can carry up to 2 TM62 anti-tank mines, or a payload of up to 88 pounds, moving at speeds of up to 15 miles per hour while being operated remotely from distances of up to 3.4 miles away. Noteworthy models include the Rattle S, the Arc-1, and the PD-15 Foxy, all designed to wreak havoc on Russian positions and logistical routes with mines. Finally, we have the logistical robots, which are the backbone of supply and evacuation efforts on the front lines. These versatile machines can transport provisions, ammunition, and equipment, as well as evacuate wounded soldiers. With a carrying capacity of up to 1,300 pounds and an operational range of 25 miles, these robots are nothing short of lifesavers for Ukrainian troops. They also come in tracked models for increased cross-country abilities and wheeled designs for an even speedier delivery. Significant models in this category include the Volaya E, the Rattle H, the Rice Pro, the KNLR-E, and the Siako S1. The robot dogs we're focusing on in this video belong to a separate category: surveillance and reconnaissance. Unlike traditional drones that soar above the fray, these four-legged technological marvels navigate challenging terrains, moving through dense forests, inside buildings, and along narrow trenches. Their ability to traverse obstacles and remain stable on uneven ground allows them to reach areas that are often too dangerous for human soldiers. The specific tasks these robotic dogs undertake include exploration of hazardous environments. They scout ahead of troops, locating enemy positions and identifying threats such as mines or booby traps. In a sense, they serve as scouts, laying the groundwork for human soldiers to follow safely. Surveillance operations. Equipped with advanced cameras and sensors, these robots gather critical intelligence, transmitting real-time video feeds back to commanders. Thanks to their small size, they can operate stealthily, often camouflaged to blend into their surroundings. Logistical support. While primarily used for reconnaissance, the robot dogs can also carry payloads of up to 9 pounds, enabling them to deliver ammunition, medical supplies, or explosives to the frontline troops. This logistical support minimizes the risk to human lives while ensuring that the soldiers have the necessary resources, a goal many of the autonomous systems we've mentioned seek to accomplish. Data security. In a tactical environment where information is vital, these robots can erase sensitive data immediately if they're captured, ensuring that the Russian forces can't exploit any intelligence they might gain. These smart dogs currently deployed in Ukraine are predominantly used by the 28th Mechanized Brigade, particularly the unit known as Medoid, which translates to honey badger. However, this isn't the first time robot dogs have been used or showcased. In fact, prior to their use in Ukraine, several countries were experimenting with robotic dog technology. Unsurprisingly, the US has been at the forefront of developing and deploying this technology. Initially, the Big Dog, developed by Boston Dynamics in 2005, was envisioned as a robotic pack mule for US troops. Though it was ultimately discontinued due to its noise issues, it laid the groundwork for future developments. Spot, a smaller, quieter robot dog, emerged in 2015, primarily for reconnaissance and security tasks. It's been used in various roles, including supporting military bases and identifying hazardous situations. China has also been making strides in this technology, but their dogs came with a twist. They're armed with various weapon systems. In recent years, the People's Liberation Army has been aggressively pursuing the integration of robotic technologies into the military, signaling a potential arms race in robotic warfare. And where there's a military race, there's Russia. At a 2022 Weapons Expo, Russia fitted a Chinese unitary robotics dog with an RPG-26 rocket launcher, attempting to demonstrate the military potential of even commercially available robots. Interestingly, the price of this robot was hiked to over $16,000, roughly 4 times its actual cost. Apparently, they determined that if they can't innovate, they might as well inflate. However, Chinese unitary robotics is important for this video for another reason. You see, according to Forbes, the robotic dogs used in Ukraine closely resemble those developed by this Chinese company. The Unitree Go2 Pro, identified as the legged equivalent of the Chinese-made DJI quadcopters, is both efficient and easily available at a low cost. Priced between $2,800 to $3,000, it features a top speed of 11 miles per hour, weighs under 30 pounds, and has an intelligent control system equipped with multiple fisheye cameras. Its powerful 1.5 teraflop processor and smart software allow it to maintain stability on uneven surfaces and even follow operators visually. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? Well, it might be just a coincidence, as the German newspaper Bild claims that the Ukrainian robot dogs were developed and sent by British risk management company and drone manufacturer Brit Alliance. The company's managing director, Kyle Thorburn, stated that these machines were born due to repeated concerns about the increasingly frequent reports of losses on the front line by enemy drones. Essentially, this makes the robot dogs a safer solution for reconnaissance missions in high-risk zones. But here's where the mystery lies. When Brit Alliance was later contacted for clarification, the company revealed that the specific robots shown in footage from Ukraine aren't manufactured by their company. Brit Alliance only confirmed they, in fact, supplied modified robot dogs to the military without specifying if this includes the Ukrainian military or disclosing the original manufacturer, so make of that what you will. But regardless of who the manufacturer is, the only thing that matters is that Ukraine is putting these robots to work on the battlefield, blending innovation with determination. From what we know about these robots, they boast quite impressive specifications and features that enhance their effectiveness on the battlefield. Capable of running at speeds of up to 9 miles per hour, these robotic companions can swiftly maneuver through various terrains, providing tactical advantages in rapidly changing combat scenarios. With a battery life of up to 5 hours, they can sustain operations for extended periods without the need for recharging, allowing them to cover significant ground and gather intelligence. But what truly sets them apart is their remarkable stealth capability. These dogs carry a heat signature similar to that of a rabbit, making detection by Russian unmanned aerial vehicles considerably more challenging. Further enhancing their concealment, the robots can be draped in camouflage blankets made by German suppliers Concamo, allowing them to blend seamlessly into their surroundings. When stationary, they effectively merge with the background vegetation, becoming nearly invisible to both visual observation and thermal imaging. And the best part? The cost of these advanced machines ranges from $4,400 to $8,800, making them a relatively affordable asset in modern warfare. When it comes to deploying these advanced robots, the operation is both sophisticated and intuitive. They can be controlled remotely, with operators using a handheld device or a computer interface to direct their movements. The robots feature advanced FPV cameras, enabling their operators to see from the robot's perspective in real time. When deployed, the robotic dogs can scout areas and relay video feeds back to commanders, providing crucial intelligence about enemy positions and terrain. Thanks to this data-driven approach, the Ukrainian troops have substantially better situational awareness, while their leaders can make informed decisions on the battlefield. If necessary, these mechanic dogs can also operate fully autonomously. How so? By following predefined routes or tracking operators. One look at all these features is enough to understand why robot dogs are so significant to the Ukrainian military. They can cover ground that would be difficult for traditional surveillance methods and transport supplies to contested areas, all the while reducing the risk to human lives. But there's one more significant aspect of these robots worth mentioning: the sheer psychological terror. Similarly to their transportation systems, the vampire drones, the presence of robotic dogs on the battlefield instills fear and uncertainty in Russian forces. After all, the Russian troops have barely been able to deal with the relentless onslaught of Ukrainian drones. Now they've got four-legged nightmares dropping from the sky to contend with. And these robots aren't just canvassing Ukrainian territory. No, these fearless robotic animals are venturing behind enemy lines, gathering intel and delivering supplies where human soldiers dare not tread. So good luck sleeping at night, comrades. Now it's time for you to chime in. What do you make of this bizarre duo of robotic dogs and vampire drones? Should we be excited about the dawn of a new era in military tactics, or should we be concerned about what these advanced technologies could do beyond the battlefield? Let us know what you think in the comments section below. Now go and check out how Ukraine's paper planes are destroying Russia's military, or click this other video instead.